I'm Anil Kumar sharing with you a test problem on end behavior. The question here is provide example for the functions with given end behavior. So there are three end behaviors given to you. The first one is end behavior is undefined. The second one is end behavior is a constant. And the third one is when x approaches infinity, y approaches negative infinity. And when x approaches negative infinity, y approaches 5. So you need to pause the video, answer these questions, and then look into my suggestions. The first one, when we say end behavior is undefined, think about a function where it is kind of oscillating, right? So sine function is a good function to take. So when you have a function like this, right? So in this kind of a function, you don't know where will it end. So in this function, it is undefined. So we can write down the function as f of x equals to sine x or cos x. Okay. The second one here is end behavior is a constant. It actually tells you the solution also. It could be a constant function, right? So something like this. And so the solution is f of x is equal to some number. It could be any number. So I'm just placing 7. Now we have a function whose end behavior is kind of given to us. When x approaches positive infinity, y approaches negative infinity. So it's kind of like this, right? Approaching negative infinity. When x is approaching negative infinity, y approaches 5. And that means it is a horizontal asymptote, correct? So when x is approaching a large value and y approaches a value, that means there is a horizontal asymptote, right? So we have a horizontal asymptote at 5, right? So with all these things linked together, the function could be kind of like this. And that reminds us of what? Well, this kind of a function is an exponential function which has been reflected, right? So normally you see those kinds of reflection exponential functions. Since it is reflected on the x-axis, so we can say minus, right? So we can say minus, you could say anything, minus 2 to the power of x, for example, right? And it has been moved or translated 5 units up, so we can say plus 5. Do you see this? So if I say plus 5, in that case we know it has been reflected and it has moved 5 units up, right? Therefore the horizontal asymptote is not at 0, but it is at number 5. So if I write x as a large negative value, first term will approach 0, right? Approach 0, negative means less than 5. So that is how it works out. And if I write a large value here, then this becomes a very, very large value. So negative large value. So function is becoming increasingly large negative value, right? So that gives you an idea of how to write a function or even how to sketch a function from the given end behavior. I hope that really helps. I'm Anil Kumar. You can subscribe and share my videos. Thank you and all the best.